Hello and welcome everybody to the TRACKILICIOUS Monday Rookies and GT4 Open. I am Mike Nause in the booth. Hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. We are here at the one and only figure 8 track in ACC, one of the only out there that I know of in the world at least. Of course, Suzuka, located in Japan, an absolutely incredible circuit. I'm really looking forward to the action we're going to be seeing here tonight. We have 15 rookies currently out there on the track in this qualifying session. I see we have a few members in chat. Doc Milwee, Rally Dutchy, and John Hawley joining us already. Welcome, welcome. We are going to be, as I said, we got a 20-minute race ahead of us here for the first session. Then after that, of course, we will be moving on into our GT4 Open Championship, where we will have a 40-minute sprint. All GT4s tonight, all the time. Definitely is going to be exciting. Apologies, might be a little out of the energy here. My voice is slightly gone, so we're going to be trying to work with that here tonight. But Suzuka, 18 corners, 8 to the left, 10 to the right. As I said, one of the only figure 8 tracks out there with about 3.6 miles as well to tackle for these guys. Eric, welcome, as it is going to be quite exciting. We're just going to head right down into the session. Taking a look at the cars out on track, currently on their outlap. Michael Cortez here, the first driver out. Actually, I take that back. Matt Melanson going to be the first driver out, as Michael Cortez has invalidated his first lap, leaving the Alpine here of Melanson to take the stage. What can he manage to put in here? But, as I was saying, I don't even know. I'm a little out of it here. Apologize, guys. Not going to be the highest quality stream tonight. I wouldn't bank on that. But we're going to get through it. In terms of the rookie series, now, of course, we don't do points here. We have, this is a just for fun championship, and the GT4 Open Series will, but of course, last time around, we did see, I think, Eduardo Layton take P1. That was, well, we'll see, a merit maybe. Regardless, Matt Melanson here, jumping up to pole position with a 2:15 to begin with here. You hear that little Alpine that could. Little 4-cylinder engine behind that thing, and flying along here in the current BOP. Jeremiah Romano also into P2. Seth Lincoln climbing up there into the time charts as well, the number 74 AMG in the Schwede Motorsports. 23 thousandths off of pole position there. Great start for the AMG. Jeremiah Romano going to be trying to answer back in the Alpine Pikes Peak. Number 110. Jeff Dallas, though, up into pole in the Precision Motorsports. Next car to the line, the 128 of Calvello. It is an invalid lap. He will have to try that one again. Be a bit of a lull now. Of course, this track, quite the long one. This is a split quali, odds and evens, so we're not going to see the most amount of drivers out on track at one time. Currently, though, we are seeing the even drivers out. And AV6 Scott gaining, John Hawley giving some energy there to AV6 Scott. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. But Jeff Dallas here also on an absolute barnstormer of a lap as it stands. He is flying along here. 2:14s. I didn't do my research here before this one and figure out what sort of lap times we are expecting, so we're going to be a little in the blind on that. He is attacking now towards the Dunlop hairpin. Very tricky. This is where you can really lose it. You can braking at that curb change on the right, where you can see the yellow and red sausage, or not sausage curves, but rumble strips starting to come into play. Accelerating now up to Spoon Curve. Now a very aggressive corner here, especially in these GT4s. These cars more about mechanical grip than they are about downforce. This corner very handy to have some extra downforce on board with. You can see easing onto that pedal there. The Porsche, you can hear that engine spinning up, and now flat out heading down towards 130R. One of the most infamous corner complexes coming up, of course. We had the World Championship of 1979 decided here. That was in turn 1, I guess, now that I think about it. Was 79? No, it wasn't 79. That doesn't make any sense. We're a little tired here tonight. It's all good. Very deep, though. Jeff Dallas into the chicane. Going to lose a couple tenths there, but still on a great climb. Heading to the line. What is it going to be? Looking like a 213 potentially here as he crests. Maybe not. No, it's going to stay in the 214s. 214-2. Definitely, though, still more on the cards for Jeff Dallas. Matt Melanson here yet to answer. Same with Seth Lincoln. Seth Lincoln coming out of the gates quite strong and dropping now down to, well, P4 as it stands. Not a terrible result. Jeremiah Romano, though, looking to improve as well. Michael Cortez currently sitting at the bottom of the time charts. I know we had energy being thrown the way of Scott Sullivan as well. We'll definitely give him the energy when he heads out on the track. He will be coming out, though, in the next session. Also, big thank you there to Ewat. Ewat, I'm so sorry for the follow. Much appreciated. Sambo just ate food over here, and I'm talking about food. Is anyone on a controller so you know who to root for? Let's take a look. No obvious names that I'm seeing here tonight. No, I don't actually think we have any controller users. At least to my knowledge. Unfortunate. John Hawley, is this a top 3 track or what? Absolutely, John. This track, of course, throughout history of all forms of motorsports, GT racing, bike racing? Yeah, they race bikes here. Yeah, definitely. Maybe. Do they? I'm drawing a blank now. I don't think they don't in the current, but I think they have in the past. But regardless, has raced, of course, Formula 1 cars. This is going to be the 4th race, in fact, in the Formula 1 season next time around. That is a really exciting one, actually. I'm looking forward to having this. Of course, normally you see that at the end of the season. Oh, big error from Calvello. And that is going to be his qualifying put to an end. Seth Lincoln currently in the S's. If the cameraman can keep up with him, he's going so quick. The S's, of course, very tricky corner complex, especially in these G2. Actually, I wouldn't say especially. I would say they're a little bit easier in these GT4 cars, as you can just kind of chuck it in, and at the end of the day, really, wherever the line goes, you're going to make some speed, but it's a flowing corner complex that works together, and it's pretty difficult if you do mess up, especially that first part of it. Seth Lincoln there through the Degnas is going to invalidate his lap, and Alan Calvello, I think that is it there for the even numbers. We have our odd numbers now making a storm out to track. Potts Weaver being the first one. He is on his outlap here, though. We can hop on board here just for a second. Potts Weaver, though, very calm. Potts is a driver who we've seen extremely improve lately. I mean, just the amount of improvement that Potts has been putting in is such an awesome thing to see. That JG Wentworth car, of course, he pulled a P2 last time around. That's his second podium, in fact, in this league. He has a P2 in race 2 and in this one. So very strong so far. Potts going to be trying to bring that back here as well at Suzuka. The McLaren here, the 570, excuse me, 570S. Yeah, drew a small blank, but regardless. I'm not sure how it's going to do, actually. It's a very quick car in a straight line, and that is not necessarily the most helpful thing to have at Suzuka. Potts Weaver, though, he is going to begin his first lap now, heading down towards the first few corner complexes. The first corner is literally just called the first corner here. So, not the most excitement in terms of the name. Through there, just easing onto the throttle now. Going to straighten that car up, get to the right-hand side of the track to chuck it into the S's. This is very crucial, the entry there, the first part. Riding third gear here. You're probably going to see a little bit of a gear change as we come out of this one. Are we heading up? No, third gear the whole way here for the McLaren. A little bit different than the GT3 cars, of course. It's just a bout of left, right, and left, and now all the way up, heading towards the Degnas. Two very quick right-handers. Easy to invalidate here, just going a little bit too deep. Ooh, Potts Weaver. Very nice line, actually. Smooth and steady here. Nothing too flashy, not really attacking the corners at any sort of, or with too much volition. Now, out towards the very deceiving corner here. This is 200R, of course, which is, well, the chicane typically that I think you would have in the MotoGP or motorcycle layout. Maybe, I don't know. What is 200? Is that... Anyways. As he comes through Spoon. And back onto the back stretch. And energy being given to me. Yes, I need it. Thank you. Hydrate with H2O. I don't even have a monster tonight. It doesn't work like that, Captain Sano. I think we've been over this in the past. Potts Weaver, though, going to be the first odd plate to the line here. What does he have in store? Currently, pole position is seemingly quite out of reach. 2 seconds just about is the gap. Potts Weaver to the line, jumps up to P2, makes that gap a little bit smaller. I say it's out of reach. Well, no longer. There's the track rubbers in here, of course. Going to get easier and easier. Behind that, drivers also going to be coming into the times. We have the 29 car of Caio Jr., the Brazilian Allied Racing. He heads to the line now. Goes P2 as well. Wow, absolutely flying. 2/10 off of Alan Calvello. Caio Jr. with a very nice entry as well into the S's, carrying the speed up, already up 2/10. Seemingly getting easier and easier. Jacob Church as well, gifting a sub to Doc Waltz. Welcome. Got multiple doctors. And Eric with a face cam Fiesta. Okay. And there is a redeem for that. Yes, you can use that for an onboard if you want. I guess, but we can go with the face cam Fiesta if you guys would like. Welcome. You can see my very unmotivated face, and as I constantly look over to my timing charts. It's not qualifying is probably not the most exciting time to be having this on, to be honest. But Caio Jr. here, 2/10 up, currently into Sector 3. Can pop on board with, or Sector 2, excuse me. Heading towards Spoon. Now, this is a very large track, of course. As I said before, 3.6 miles these drivers have to tackle. And, well, it's a long one. Lap times here, of course, we're looking to the 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Caio there struggling to grip up the wheel as it is a little bit of a milk in the cow action. Now flat out down the back stretch, though. How's it going, Malcolm X? Kevin as well. Welcome, welcome. It's a points redemption, Kevin. It'll go off automatically, but yeah. Washed up Squid as well. TJ, welcome. Put the camera so it looks like I'm in the driver's seat. I don't think cameras work like that. Divisionado as well. Welcome. Welcome to the line here, Caio Jr. I think this is going to be a pole position lap. As he comes to the line here, how much is it going to be? Woohoo! 5 thousandths of a second. My goodness. That's tight. Caio Jr. and Alan Calvello, he's going to be a little bit upset there, of course, but I don't think he can be, well, I mean, there's really nothing to be upset about there. That is tight. Tight margins. Mel's welcome. KTM should be interesting. Yes, driving a lawnmower should be. I agree. Weaver down on his lap. Mike Patrick in the AMG Black currently improving, but has a few more corners to go here. Actually, about dead even now at this time. Got a bit of a poor exit onto the back stretch. We'll ride along here with Mike. Oh, very deep into the back in the final chicane there. That is probably... Wow, he actually... Oh, he gained time momentarily. Okay. Mel's been sticking with the Alpine and loving it. Yeah, it is, it's a really good car. It's a very, very good car. Some may say the best in terms of the GT4s. Not here tonight. Currently the highest placed Alpine, Matt Melanson in P6. Wait, Mels, are you Melanson? That name would make sense. Disappointed to be the only one bringing back the KTM this week. Yeah, I will say I would have expected... there's just a few missing. We might see some in the Open Series. I'd expect to see at least 1 or 2 KTMs in the Open Series. So look forward to that tonight. One thing I'm noticing is a lot of AMGs. I don't know where that came from, but lots of AMGs on the grid tonight, which I personally like to see. I enjoy driving myself an AMG GT4, but clearly so do a lot of other people. Yet to set times, though. Jaeger Karu, Zane Blisket. Actually, I think they're starting in the back. Rally Dutchy as well. Assuming there might even be in chatter. Yeah, starting in the back. Little last to first challenge. Yes, okay. Thank you. And Darren Thomas Snoopy with 100 bits. Thank you so much. Jeremy Cubbage, welcome. Brandon Mellenbacher currently up about a 10th. Next driver, though, to the line will be the number 7 of Mike Patrick. He's on an invalid lap. Also, Potts Weaver about half a second down. Quality's a bit of a struggle here at the end as the track is at its maximum amount of grip. Brandon Mellenbach, a bit of an error through the second Degna. Now heading towards the Dunlop hairpin. Got lots of time to make up. He was up about 4/10, drops all of that through one corner. Another driver that is out on track, Jeff Franks, who we haven't mentioned just yet. We'll definitely take an eye. In fact, you know what? Let's pop on board here with the Love Wins Racing of Jeff Franks, as he is absolutely flying right now. Currently 4.5 seconds off of pole position, and I'm only saying that because we might even see that here tonight. Yes, Jeremy, I did get the Christmas livery. Yes, I did. Assuming that's the one he's running tonight. Yes. Haven't had a deep dive on it just yet. Currently, Michael Cortez sitting in P10. Jeff Franks going to try to dethrone him, but I think he's going to try to dethrone more than just Michael here. That was a very aggressive attack through Spoon, as he is going to wait to pick up that throttle very late there. As he does, though, going to get a good exit, maximizing that rev range as well. Gaining time down the back stretch, heading now towards 130R. Down a gear, chucks it in, back on the throttle. Bit more track could have been used there. Now into the final chicane, braking just before the Yokohama board. Very deep. Oh no, he threw the lap away. Jeff Franks at the very end in the Love Wins Racing. You absolutely hate to see it. Jeff was on for an absolute stormer of a lap, and there is no improvement at the end. So close there for Jeff. And does anyone race on a G29? Definitely. Lethal, there are more than one G29 users in this lobby, I can assure you that right now. I can't tell you who they are, but I definitely know. I know that Logitech just came out with their new direct drive wheel as well. Is that the 9230? Is that what that was? It went welcome. Thank you for that follow, and thank you for dropping a chat as well. We're going to get in here and meet our drivers as we have it here. 17 drivers on the field. And starting off here in P1, it is going to be the Allied Racing Brazilian driver, the number 29 of Caio Jr. Lined up next to him on the front row will be Alan Calvello in the JD128. We also, of course, behind that have Potts Weaver, the number 13 in P3, with Mike Patrick in 4th in the number 7 AMG Black. Brandon Mellenbacher in the AMG as well in P5, with Jeff Dallas Company in 6th. Matt Melanson bringing up P7 in the Alpine, the number 10. Seth Lincoln going to be in P8, the number 74 in the Schwede Motorsports AMG, with Jeremiah Romano in P9. Michael Cortez Company in the new Christmas Noobs R Us livery in the 716, with Jeff Frank behind in the Love Wins Racing in P11. Stefano Rinaldi going to be in P12, the Italian Stallion, I messed that up, in the number 87 car, with Scott Sullivan behind in P13. Yeager Karu, 14th quickest in the Mad Fox Racing. No time on the board for any of the Mad Foxes. Zane Bliskett, the sister car, in P15, and the other sister car in P16, Rally Dutchy. Last but not least, of course, is going to be the Baseline Racing KTM of Jan Rodricks. And what a livery. I got to say, I might not be too many sponsors on it, but I actually really enjoy that livery. Caio Jr., though, up at the front, has the weight of the world on his shoulders in that Allied Racing Porsche. I think let's see here. Oh, he doesn't have, okay, never mind. He's not wearing not the livery that I was thinking it was. Oh, exclamation mark SimGrid, Jose, here, I can get you that for you. There you go. If you are looking for any of the leagues that we run here, of course, the Monday Rookie League that is going to be found over on SimGrid. Yes, sorry, I see there, by Blue FF. Welcome, welcome. Yes, any leagues that we run here, all for ACC, of course, on the PC, can be found over on SimGrid. Links are right there. We'll take a quick look at the calendar. Why not while we wait here? Popping that up real fast, we can see that's the Patrons. We'll get to that in a second. Porsche Cup, of course, we have on Sundays with our GT3 Championship, and coming up as well, our Max Rain at Britain special event. Definitely be looking forward to that one in the near future. But the GT3 main event coming up to the Watkins Glen. 2 more races left in that championship. Also, GT4 Rookie Series, that's what we're watching right now. We're here at Suzuka. We have Zandvoort up next. Also, the GT4 Open Championship. That will more on that in a minute. But yes, they are going to be, of course, later on tonight after this at the same track in the same cars. So look forward to that. And if you are looking to maybe dip your toe into some more fun leagues, of course, the GT3 Reverse Grid that we run on Thursdays, that one is extremely fun. Super competitive racing, as you will qualify regularly in race 1, but in race 2 you will be starting from the opposite of where you finished the first race. So you finish P1, you'd be starting P last, so on and so forth. Also, big thank you to our patrons, all of their names on screen. And Lethal just started sim racing and struggling with hardware and stuff. Yeah, Lethal, I gotta say, TRACKILICIOUS Discord, definitely the place to go. We have multiple channels. I'm trying to think, the sim, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head here. I'll look for you. But definitely check out the TRACKILICIOUS Discord, as people are super informative and trying to help you out, give you good setup tips. Everyone's got their own opinion, I know. But of course, it's going to be your number one place to look there in the Rig and Rig Info corner, I think is what it is. Or something along those lines. But yeah, definitely, Blue as well. Check out the Discord if you guys are interested. All of our league information can be found there, as well as just a bunch of very nice people that enjoy racing. And if you're into that sort of thing, well, there you go. A community of people that just like to come into Discord. They race every now and then just for fun. And Jose Guzman, a.k.a. Big Baller Patreon. Yes, thank you, Jose Guzman. Thank you so much to all of our Gold Tier members. You guys are amazing. And recommend pedals before wheel because of if it's a financial struggle. That's a good call, Jose. The pedals are going to help you out, of course, with the braking. That's going to be your most important, getting those load cell pedals. Rather than, you know, I've driven with the 920, or the, what do I have? Yeah, 920. And, yeah, the pedal's not quite ideal when it comes to the brakes, I got to say. So, I'd highly recommend looking at load cell pedals in the future. Of course, if that is in your financial wheelhouse, there are plenty of brand new sim racing technology that's coming out, making a lot of the older stuff more affordable. And also in our Discord, I think people every now and then post some of their older sim gear up for sale. So if that's something that you're interested in looking for, keep an eye out in the TRACKILICIOUS Discord, because I know there's been a few there. In fact, I bought my wheel from somebody in the TRACKILICIOUS community, so there's that. The drivers here on their outlap. Very long outlap here tonight at Suzuka, 3.6 miles. It's not as long as I think. I always think this track is the length of Spa. Spa, of course, being 4.3 miles. Here, not quite as much, actually quite the difference. And yeah, Jose drove on a Logitech wheel for about 3 months and then just went full send into sim racing. That's the other thing, guys. If you do want to share your rigs in that rig and rig info, please do post your photos. I know we just saw some recently here. I think it was Brad Severs. He just had a nightmare. Hold on. Who was it recently? Somebody just posted a brand new rig that they just finished. We'll get into that in a little bit here, as these drivers, of course, now coming around the final corner and onto the start-finish straight here at Suzuka. Leading us away here is going to be Caio Jr. with Alan Calvello company in P2. I'm Mike Nause in the booth as we get ready to go green here at Suzuka. It's going to be a slow crawl down to the line here. Energy being thrown the way for Matt Melanson. What do we have in store? The drivers eager to go as we approach the line and go green, green, green now, heading down to the first corner, and it's about a dead even start for a P1 through 6. That's absolutely incredible to see. And a bit of a fallback there behind from Jeff Dallas as he is getting a bit further. Excuse me, that's going to be Matt Melanson falling back behind at the start. Everyone, though, so far so good into the first few corners. We're a bit of a concertina there. Maybe a little bit of contact for the Porsche. I think that was Jeremiah Romano, maybe? No, it was in the Alpine. The Porsche, though, having a bit of contact. Jeff Dallas. Ooh, off the track there goes Mike Patrick, in contact for Potts Weaver into the barrier. He goes. It's a drive-through penalty picked up for for Caio Jr. as well, leading this race. You absolutely hate to see that. He is gone by a mile, and that might have something to do with that drive-through penalty. False start potentially. Jeff Dallas, though, making his way behind Brandon Mellenbacher with Matt Melanson chasing and Jeremiah Romano behind. Seth Lincoln going to be in P7, 2/10 chasing. And Caio there, you can see the timing charts, not really knowing what to do. I assure you, Caio is still in the lead, everybody. At least for now. Michael Cortez up a position from P10, trying to make up some more ground. Zane Blisket up 5 already. Nicely done from Zane on this first lap. Mike Patrick falling down 9 positions. Jan Roderick's up 9 positions. Incredible stuff there on the lap 1 for the KTM. The lawnmower just blazing its way through the field. Looking a bit further up here at Jeff Dallas. We also actually should look at Seth Lincoln. Seth Lincoln absolutely pushing it here into the spoon corner. Is he going to make a lunge? He is. Now that can be disastrous if you go for that a little too committed. Luckily this time around, Seth not overly commits, and he does manage to make that corner at the end of the day, but still very, very close, tight racing. Jeremy there supporting Noobs R Us. More energy there being thrown from Matt Melanson. Or no, I think I already got that one, but still. And that is Seth Lincoln trying to work his way onto the inside of Jeremiah Romano. Oh, goes a bit deep there on the exit, unfortunately. Is Jan Roderick's going to capitalize into the first corner? That's going to be the question. Gaining, and gaining. A very low point of view here from the KTM. You're basically sitting on the floor, it feels. Bit of a more primitive car, you might say. Of course, in the near future in ACC, we're going to be seeing another version of the KTM Crossbow. Of course, the GT2 variant, much quicker than this current one. As they negotiate their way through the S's. Jan Roderick's not able to find the window that he's looking for. Caio Jr. also stays out this lap, trying to just pull away as far as he can for now. But nothing is going to stop that drive-through penalty, unfortunately, for the false start, or whatever, the out-of-place grid position, however you want to call it. But very clean start here for the rookies. Jägerkaru in the back trying to make a position here onto Stefano Rinaldi. Rinaldi in the Porsche. The Italian Stallion. I said it proper this time. Under threat. But Jäger falling back there after the Degnas. The AMG. Bit of a lumbering car through the Degnas. You can see there. Gaining, though, in the hairpin. Is he going to have an opportunity for the exit? No, not quite. Oh, sticking a nose down the inside, though, of 200R. Side by side, heading towards Spoon. It's going to be the outside line for the AMG. Can he go late enough on the brakes? Jägerkaru on the outside. Stefano Rinaldi on the inside. Stefano, though, holds the position for now. Way wide goes Scott Sullivan. He has decided to make his own track. Jägerkaru sticking with it, though. Gets a better line and a better exit with the drive as well. That Porsche, of course, not going to be... Oh, doesn't get the better exit, actually. Jäger sticking next to him for now. Has maybe a look, but no, not through 130R. That would be very bold. Now, into the final hairpin. Needs to be careful, of course, Scott Sullivan. And actually, I think that was, I said Scott Sullivan went off. Who was that went off? It was Rally Dutchy that went off. My apologies. Scott, with the, not the Azure livery, of course. I thought that was the Azure livery. And using the 90s livery this time around is Scott Sullivan in the AMG. Oh, nice fighting up here from the KTM. Send on to the inside. Clips the curb. Was there contact with Potts Weaver? I'm not sure. Oh, tags the barrier as well. And ends up parking it in the grass for a picnic. Let's get another view of this. So this is going to be Potts Weaver trying to make an overtake onto the KTM. KTM with no legs whatsoever. Sends it on to the inside. No contact. The car just gets unsettled and loses it. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, the KTM, not the greatest in straight line, not the greatest at cornering, not the greatest at braking. It's just not the greatest car, unfortunately. A car I wish I had a little bit more love in ACC, but this 2.0 liter inline 4, it's a turbocharged engine, but yeah, just a little 2.0 that thing has. Side by side, wow. Jägerkaru drives right by Stefano. I'm not sure if Stefano yielded there, or if Jäger, just with the more confidence, able to send it down up into P12. Eyes up ahead here to Potts Weaver. Currently trailing behind Jeremiah Romano. Mike Patrick also going to be having a sniff. Potts in the slipstream. Look to the inside of Spoon. We've seen him do this before. He is going to be a lot more committed, and room is left there. Jeremiah Romano being very generous at the apex. Washes wide after picking some marbles up on the tires, and that is going to be 2 positions dispatched in 1. Mike Patrick, can he best Potts Weaver? That will be a question. Of course, Potts on a recovery drive. Down 4 positions, so is Mike Patrick. Zane Blisket here in the Mad Fox. Currently under threat from Michael Cortez. This is for the top 10. Here we are. Kaio Jr. Now we're about to see every single driver gain a position except for Kaio Jr. He is unfortunately about to lose 17. Side by side into the first corner as well. Matt Melanson and Seth Lincoln. Seth able to get it done. Confidence under braking. The AMG looking strong here at Suzuka. Mike Patrick, though, behind. Has a, whoa, misjudgment of the brakes, almost sends it right into the back of Potts Weaver. He thankfully corrected it and ends up, well, putting himself into the grass. But that was the better of the 2 evils, that's for sure. Mike Patrick, going to be a bit upset with that, dropping that position to Jeremiah Romano that easily. But hey, at least he didn't take out Potts Weaver and pick himself up a pit start for the next race. Matt Melanson on the charge. Why don't we hop on board here with the Mel's Racing? Oh, way deep goes Seth Lincoln. That should give a really good opportunity here to Matt Melanson on the exit. That's exactly what he was looking for. Does he smell blood in the water? You can see, though, the AMG, much better acceleration, able to get on the throttle a bit earlier. The 621 of Rally Dutchy, unfortunately, has lost it in the Dunlop hairpin as well. Whoa, Matt Melanson under threat from Potts Weaver. Potts Weaver with a significant overspeed there, gaining onto the back bumper down the back stretch. Now into the final chicane. Nothing doing just yet. Now these three drivers all landed each other here. 10 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. The inside line for Potts Weaver, easily done there. Needs to hold on to it. Looks like he does so. Bit deep, but keeping it under control for the most part. Matt Melanson not with any immediate response. Coming back, though, into the S's. Going to be tough. The S's are not a spot that you're going to be looking for an overtake. You're going to be looking to stick behind as well, close as you can, as Matt Melanson is demonstrating currently. Matt Melanson, oh, wide through the S's. Maybe taking an alternate line, but that's not going to help him too much through the left-hander. Devin Smallblock Anthony has it going. Oh, a bit further behind, we have the Allied Racing along with the Love Wins here, side by side, coming now through in towards the Degnas. Oh, no move available just yet. Oh, but deep goes Jeff Franks. Unfortunately, Jeff gonna have to concede that position immediately to Kaio Jr. Is Jeff done yet? That is the question. About half a second behind and gaining, but also Kaio Jr., of course, with that pole position. I think maybe we may, it's a bit of a he's got a bit of work to do is all I'm getting at here. Looking here at the battle for P, second to last. Oh no, Jan Rodrix loses it. That KTM just really struggling for grip here tonight. Coming back onto the track, loses it again. Oh, facing the wrong way. Rally Dutchy will have a chance potentially here to gain P not last. And Jeff Dallas also on a charge. 3/10. This is for a battle for P2. Wide goes Brandon Mellenbacher. Very close. Precision Motorsports number 12 here, doing everything he can to unsettle the likes of Brandon. Brandon, of course, is up 3 positions. So is Jeff. Alan Calvello, he started in P2. He's up into the lead of this race by a good margin currently. So these two, I don't think, are thinking about the race win at this point. Brandon Mellenbacher is going to be trying to do everything he can to hold on to this P2. 8 minutes left to go, though, and that's going to be quite the ask. And energy as well being thrown the way of Seth Lincoln. He is going to need it, no doubt. Potts Weaver breathing down his neck currently, trying to get his front splitter sent into the inside of the Degnas, but no avail there. Behind that as well, Matt Melanson. Any little error here could be catastrophic for any of these drivers. Wide goes Seth Lincoln. Never mind, that was not wide. That was a proper line. I got excited. Also battle with Jaeger Kari. We're going to keep an eye, though, on this Potts Weaver battle, as this is for the highest place position currently. Seth is under so much pressure right now. It's so easy to fold and just to make the slightest little error and drive off the track. And that will, of course, result in losing you plenty and plenty of time. Back at it we go. Potts Weaver, inside line for the 130 yard. This should be done and dusted. It is. Oof, Seth Lincoln having to dip a tire onto the grass. Got a little dicey. Oh, but Matt Melanson actually, hold on. What has happened here? Seth Lincoln, I think, had a little bit of an error, but Matt Melanson also, as there was a slight little position change momentarily. Jeff Dallas here tucking to the inside of the first corner. Is this going to be the position it should be? He's late on the brakes, and he is going to get it done. Manages to keep it on track. Done and dusted for the number 12 Porsche. Matt Melanson also coming back at Mike Patrick. Another battle that's unfolded is Yeager Karu, Michael Cortez, and Kaio Jr. Maka OP. I'm not sure the Maka's OP in this version, or this motorsport of in this class. There we go. We got there at the end of the day. GT3s, maybe. I might agree with you there. GT4s, nah, I like the 570. It's not that good, so that's why I like it. Potts Weaver, though, having the time of his life in it. And doing an excellent job. Kaio Jr. side by side with Michael Cortez. Send on to the first Degna. Bit of an elbows out pass there for Kaio. He did keep all four on the track. Oh, and Yeager also taking advantage of Cortez's misfortune. Let's go back and take a look at that one from a helicam. As Kaio has a nose alongside there. Now approaching the Degnas. Sort of just the nature of that corner. I will say the only argument there is, of course, Kaio Jr. I'm not sure he stayed on track. Now, if Kaio Jr. went off track, that is definitely, well, an overtake I was going to say the stewards would look at. But this is an unstewarded league, so not quite. Here is Seth Lincoln under threat from Mike Patrick. Matt Melanson just out of your window there, or just in the window, rather. Top speed so far, great question. So we're looking at the McLaren, no surprise there. McLaren fastest in a straight line, 252 kph. Next to that, Zane Blisket, 249, so a 3 kph difference between P1 and P2. That is quite big. Also 2 kph separating Zane Blisket and Mike Patrick. The AMG is looking blisteringly fast in a straight line here tonight, but the McLaren, which no surprise, is going to be the quickest here tonight. Whoa! Very close there. Mike Patrick almost going right into the back bumper of Seth Lincoln. Matt Melanson also has joined this party. Jeremiah Romano has somehow gotten overtaken by Seth Lincoln. I don't know how that, yeah, Scott Sullivan, excuse me. I don't know how that happened. Mike, oh, excuse me. Mike Patrick. What does he have left in the tank? Has he used everything he's got at this point? 1 second off the lap time, I will say. He is the fastest lap of these 3 drivers, though, around his current self. So the pace may be there, but it's so tough to overtake here at Suzuka. You really need a good opportunity and a good amount of overspeed, and in equal machinery, it's tricky to make that dream become a reality. Seth Lincoln holding on, though, and now allowing Mike... Oh, no, never mind. He's held on to the rumble strips there. Way too deep. Allowing Mike Patrick to send it up the inside. We're going to go side by side. A little bit of bumping and banging as they head on to the back stretch, but no, Mike Patrick is firmly ahead. Seth trying to answer back into 130R. Now, is that going to compromise his line immediately to Matt Melanson? That's the question. Gives him a big squeeze there, but the line needs to respect the racing room for Melanson. Melanson down the inside. No, yeah, not going to happen just yet. But that overtake attempt from Seth Lincoln is what put Seth in that position to begin with. A bit further behind, we have Jeff Franks battling with Michael Cortez here. Oh, Michael Cortez has completely overshot the chicane. Has to allow Jeff by. Drops down to P14. Also, very much thank you to Jim Bones 45 for the follow. And Backwoods Geek, welcome as well, supporting Brandon Mellenbacher. Currently in the podium position. 2 seconds off of the likes of Jeff Dallas. Jeff Dallas about 9 seconds off the likes of Alan Calvello. Matt Melanson here, not giving up on the fight with Seth Lincoln. Seth out of shape through the exit of the S's, now heading up towards the Degna, and it is going to be the Alpine with the advantage. Seth going backwards at this stage in the race. Jose with a hydrate, great idea. Need a redemption for a cough drop, but it's not going to happen. Seth Lincoln still going to be trying to get what he can from Melanson. Also, though, here on this last lap, Caio Jr., what does he have? Gaining onto Romano, the Brazilian Allied Racing driver, heading to the inside. You know, Jose, there are some commentators that may say that. Oh, bit of a bumping and banging. Matt Melanson, Seth Lincoln not giving it up on the last lap here. Melanson actually gets overtaken. Seth, nicely done with the comeback there, back into P6. As we have it, though, Alan Calvello, he comes to the line in P1. Nicely done for the JD Porsche. All eyes, though, I think, are on this battle, Matt Melanson and Seth Lincoln. I think it's decided, though, and I think Melanson has been bested by Seth at the very last opportunity. Seth Lincoln, nicely done, buddy, to the line. But Alan Calvello with the P1, Jeff Dallas in P2, and Brandon Mellenbacher in 3rd. Potts Weaver bringing up 4th with Mike Patrick in 5th. Seth Lincoln bringing home 6th, Matt Melanson in 7th, Scott Sullivan in 8th, Caio Jr. in 9th, and Jeremiah Romano in 10th. Never gonna forget that one. Hey, look, Snoopy, you hand the mic over to Eric for one session, and he goes and creates gold like that. How could you let that down? As we have it, though, let's see if we can get some interviews from our drivers. We'll go for some replays as well. And we'll head back to the booth at the same time. So welcome back to the booth, everybody. Hope everyone enjoyed. Alan Calvello with a win tonight, Jeff Dallas in P2, and Brandon Mellenbacher taking 3rd. As we wait to see any drivers heading into the green room here for our post-race interview. Let's see here. First off, how much time do we have? We'll just do the highlights. It's fine. As we wait here for any of the drivers, I think, though, let's see here. I'm going to rudely move Brandon Mellenbacher. That's fine. Is there anyone else? Matt Melanson? Not on pole, or excuse me, not on the podiums. My apologies. Alan Calvello and Jeff Dallas, if you guys want to race a post-race interview, head on up to the green room currently. You're more than welcome. We are going to start, though, with, I think, one of the fan favorites. Let's pull good old Brandon Mellenbacher in down here. Brandon, how's it going?
Oh, it's going.
You don't sound too thrilled with your podium. I think chat was a little bit more excited than you are.
I was really hoping to grab 2nd, and tires just didn't seem to hold out. I was losing grip everywhere at the end.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like a lot of drivers were going backwards. Maybe was that just an AMG thing? I'm not sure, because the AMG seemingly struggling. I noticed with Seth Lincoln in particular, really minimal grip towards the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is or not, but I mean, I had to change my whole line, or the whole setup, because I just had to start shifting down extra gear just to keep on the line. So, but it slowed me down enough for Jeff Dallas. Jeff Dallas is always really close racing with me, it seems like, so it was good.
Yeah, he's very quick driver. Managed to beat you by about 2 seconds there at the end. I know you had that pace for a while. Put up a fight. It was nice to see you, though, battling with Potts Weaver. That was a fun little bout. You got anything to say on that one?
No, not really.
Fair enough.
He took off pretty quick.
But nonetheless, Brandon, thank you very much. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And great to see you in the next one. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
That's Brandon Mellenbacher, everybody. Our P3 finisher here tonight. Looking like the only interview we're going to be getting as well. And it's just voice and face. Yes, it is just my voice and face. I hope you enjoy it, I guess. I don't know. But yes, mainly voice. My voice is gone right now, man. It is hurting. Kevin, welcome, Kev John. And Mellenbacher seems like just a classic car racer name. It honestly is. But no, great result there. Great race one from the rookies. Of course, that's not it, everybody. Up next, we have our GT4 Open Series. Currently, the driver's briefing is underway, so it's looking like it's going to be a little bit before we get that one going. I don't particularly want to commentate Stream Racer. I'm going to be completely honest. So we're just gonna sit with the replay then in the background here. We'll get a little audio for the replay as well. Why not? And yeah, how's it going, chat? We'll just chat for a little bit because I really, like I say, I do not want to strain my voice any more than I really have to. So I apologize for that, everybody. But why don't we take a look at the server and see where it is standing currently, if it is even standing. Let's find out. Pop on into it for now. Maybe take a look at some liveries.
Green light, go, go, go.
We have 21 drivers in the session currently. I'd imagine a few more will be joining us. Get reconnected here, get the pit wall back up and active. Brandon Mellenbacher immediately back out on track, so right into the action again. Of course, the GT4 Open Series here is going to be brought to you by our patrons, so let's pop them up real quick. So there, patrons, all the names on screen right now. Massive thank you to especially our V12 Exotics and our V8 Muscle and Inline 4 donors as well. You guys are amazing. Also, now while we're here, take a look at the calendar. We got about 8 minutes here left in free practice before the session heads on over. Oh my goodness, that's a while. But yes, of course, GT4 rookies, which we're watching right now, GT4 Open as well, and GT3 Reverse Grid coming up. Also, GT3 Championships on Sunday. It's going to be at Watkins Glen, December 10th, 30-45 doubleheader with our GT3 or Porsche Cup Championship for a support series, and of course, Max Rain in Britain on the 21st. Now, these drivers in practice going to be getting some laps done. I see Eric has crawled into the booth here with me. Eric, how's it going?
Hey, Mike. Figured I'd come and give you some company while we're waiting for the next race.
Seems fair. Seems fair. So we can pop back to the booth. Welcome
How's
back.
Everybody doing tonight? Bit of an exciting first race, eh?
Yeah, definitely was. We saw the likes, Alan Calvello there dominating, but unfortunately, of course, that drive-through penalty was the real talk of the town. From Kaio Jr. Probably would have took the race win. Unfortunately, though, had it out of grid place start, which as a result, well, we saw what happened. Also, Roofless with a Prime sub. Thank you so much, Roofless, on a 6 months subbed with Prime. Thank you so much. And Darren Thomas telling me to take a break. I mean, yeah, it's probably what I should do, to be completely honest, but it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, let me fill in for a couple of minutes here. I was watching a bit of the first race, but wasn't able to watch the whole thing. But, you know, I can go into one of my rants as I know you love Mike, but it'll give you a break on your voice. You know, I've seen many a driver come in here in the rookie series and graduate to bigger and better things, whether it's here at Trackalicious or move on to other leagues, other friend leagues, other leagues. It's just so heartwarming to see, for lack of a better word. I love seeing these people come in here, learn within our rules set racecraft, learn within our rules set fair competition, improving their driving skills. You know, as we always say, there's hot lapping and then there's racing, right? And I feel like the rookie series has been such a good platform for people to get into that mode, really learn the ins and outs of it. And not only that, but the community is so supportive to each other in helping each other learn. It's as much a competition as a friendly support system. And I mean, for me, the name that I think of that's a big star of having graduated that is John Hawley. I mean, we saw him with a podium finish just a couple of weeks ago. It's just awesome to see, and so exciting to see his development through the series. And for all of those who are looking at these people in the upper echelon, it's not an impossible task. It's just a matter of time, consistency, practice, and I am certain that everybody, including myself with such poor innate skill, can eventually get there. It's such a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that drivers need to practice is their pit stops for this race in particular. So drivers hopefully going to be on track for that one.
I could definitely tell you that I'm probably the most guilty of non-practice pit stops. But let's put things into context, right? When we're talking about pit stops, we're talking about several seconds of difference between a good pit stop and a bad pit stop. So let's just say, for example, a good pit stop is better in 2 seconds, 3 seconds better, in a very, very conservative way, but realistically probably 5 seconds to be had. If you have 5 seconds to gain over a 20-minute race, that likely means a Suzuka, which is closer to a 2-minute lap time, 15 laps, means you're gaining. I'm doing math in my head. Five seconds, 5/3 of a or.
Trying to say like 23% of a lap, or like, what are you trying to? I'm not sure what you're trying to get here.
So in order to gain 5 seconds during a 20-minute race, you have to gain 1/4 of a second a lap, I believe. No, that's 10 laps.
My goodness, Eric, you're making...
Yeah, half a second a lap. You have to gain half a second a lap, and consistently be better half a second a lap to gain 5 seconds.
Yeah,
wrong.
I don't know what you just said, but let's go with it.
Now I'm obsessed. Now I have to do the math.
No, you don't. No, it's fine. Trust me. I don't think anyone's gonna be too bothered if you don't. Ilipo,
someone in chat's smarter than me, for sure.
I don't doubt that. But definitely, this one going to be one to look forward to, Eric. 33 drivers on the grid here tonight, and lots of repeats from the rookie race as well.
Yeah, you know, it's awesome. I love the fact it is. By the way, it is half a second a lap. I was right. I love that. I love that the rookies are taking on the challenge of a little bit more variety in the race format, and that was the whole idea of transitioning from the rookie series to the open series, in that we have added a pit stop, a little bit of complexity that you eventually have to learn in ACC, and variable weather. Now, I'm hesitant to say that it looks like relatively clear weather, but it is darker, right? So it's a different time of day. And this is really exciting for the rookies to take these baby steps into progressing into more complicated type scenarios for racing. The rookies is very focused on the racecraft and skill progression, and trying to keep it as simple as possible. So we always keep it daytime, no variable weather, and that step to the next level is an important one to take to get comfortable with it. Keeping the car the same, keeping the track the same, and changing those options is a really good progression to the next level, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. super exciting to see, and just the diversity as well, being able to battle with some bigger names out there, to have a bit of a benchmarker to see what the quicker laps are like, and that it is possible, of course, for everybody to set those alien paces.
Yeah, I've seen many a person progress into alien pace who I used to be toe to toe with. I mean, look at Jake Wells these days. Jake, I suck at this, has gone from a pretty decent driver, nothing to write home about, and now he's pretty much, first or second in any grid he's on. And it's just that willingness to commit the time, willingness to be consistent, willingness to learn, most importantly. A lot of people, and I know a couple of people at TRACKILICIOUS, have really tried to learn in a bit of a vacuum, in that they'll go on for an hour or two during the week and try to learn themselves. But I think it's really important to use the community and really, there's so many people that have so much information that it would take you months to learn, that you can learn in a session. And I think it's super important to take advantage of it. If you want to learn faster, just come hang out. There are so many people that have literally years of experience that can help you out and willing to help you out. Just pop a message in chat, ask a question. Just today I made a comment. Someone got DSQ'd in the GT3 race on Sunday, or yesterday I should say, and I said, hey, why don't you just, for the sake of being new, just turn the pit limiter on, the auto pit limiter? He goes, I didn't know you could do that. It's like, well, that could have saved you a DSQ on a race. So yeah, ask the question, come hang out. Most of the people are generally pretty friendly.
Yeah, it's an amazing community that we have here at TRACKILICIOUS, so highly recommend, of course, Discord there in the chat if you guys are interested. As we have it, session getting ready to roll on over. We can see some pit stops being practiced. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricardo Rivera, a man of my heart. Also, Thanasis Leakos. I wanted to make one more comment on the improving and just the nature of drivers. Scott Sullivan, a driver who's out on track currently, I think is one that he would say he was a backpack driver not too long ago. And that was not that long ago, to be completely honest, just a couple months. And Scott Sullivan, P8 here in the Open Series as it stands. And like I say, he was back in the doldrums and managing to come up now to the P8. Great job from Scott. The amount of effort and the driving. Also, AV6 Scott over on Twitch, incredible streamer. Definitely want to check out.
Yeah, that's a great shout out. AV6 Scott, and I want to talk about what I think got him there. He has a consistent practice schedule, it seems like. And I don't know when it is, but I know I see him on every week, and that's what I love about him. Scott seems like such a organized person, and he goes, every week I'm going to allocate X amount of hours that seems reasonable, going to come in, practice, post some questions in the channel, and I'll oftentimes get responses, hey, how fast are you guys going? What do the times look like? And comparing himself and trying to improve in that way. I think it's phenomenal. I do agree with you that Scott's definitely another name that needs to be noted. Good job, Scott. We are all rooting for you and everybody else on track looking to improve. As we have the Puerto Rican driver, I think, Ricardo Rivera. Is he out there in front of the front?
No, I can't tell who's in. Number 3, I think, is who's in front right now. We'll see once everyone actually piles. I think Gage Gonzalez has that title, though. And he is out. It is Gage Gonzalez. First car out on track.
So interesting story about Gage and Ricardo. So Gage and Ricardo came to TRACKILICIOUS around the same time, and I just recently heard the story, so I thought it was cool. And Gage was brand new to Forza, and they had a league in which they were like, hey, we'll pair a newbie to an expert. So they paired Gage and Ricardo together, and obviously Gage is not slow, so they just whomped the field in that series and just won the championship. And they've been friends ever since.
Why would
it's like one of those.
Sorry to interrupt, Derek. I'm just trying to find out why would you brand this car as a Clio? Why do you want a Renault Clio? Jeremy, these are some questionable choices here, man.
Kind of cool. He's got the Christmassy livery going.
I love it.
Good for them.
Absolutely love it.
Obviously not opposed to any gradients on this corner of the commentary booth. And there are liveries too. Another fun kind of thing that goes on at Trackalicious. We have a lot of talented livery makers. It's just awesome to see the creativity that comes through with these liveries. One of my personal favorites is Reggie King. I think he does. I don't think he's ever missed on a livery. I think he has some phenomenal liveries.
What happened to Jet?
I think Jet, so Jet is, I mean, people whisper in the alleys about the legend of Jet Engelman, the livery master. So he, just before he disappeared into the nothings, Jet took on basically, I don't know, self-contracting. And I think that he's just basically drowned in work, for lack of a better way to put it. So, that's interesting you mentioned that. Literally today, out of however many months, I messaged him just saying what's up, see how he's doing. So yeah, hope Jet, if you're around or listening at all, hope you're doing well. We miss you, buddy. But we know that life has its ups and downs and people get busy. Hopefully we'll be here when you get back. Looking forward to your legendary return. Yeah. He's had some incredible liveries. The Japanese samurai Nissan livery, that was incredible. The
Flying Private.
The Flying Private, the Maserati one, right? That was awesome. Jets.
I think the Flying Private was an Aston, if I remember right, but I could be wrong.
You're probably right. He had an Aston one.
Multiple cars, if I'm not mistaken.
He has a Leroy Jetson Maz livery, and then he has got that midnight purple. No, the Leroy Jetson was on the P Cup. He's got the Leroy Jetson P Cup.
That car is beautiful. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that car.
Purple. Yeah, awesome.
Also, just a quick little update in chat. Thomas Snoopy with a pre-race hydrate, also pre-quali hydrate. I got that in for you. And then also, we have Planet Bruno, first-time chatter, saying that you rock. No, Bruno, you rock. Thank you very much.
I saw my name mentioned earlier. What is that about? I didn't hear what you guys were talking about. But
you said something in chat. I think I was just saying hi to you.
No, something Darren Thomas maybe mentioned. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't remember. Personally.
That's okay.
My brain is everywhere currently. That's
okay. Mine too. Mine's like that all the time, as you know. So, are we starting some hot laps here or what?
Gage is about to finish his first lap. So Gage here to the line, first driver on a lap. He is going to be the first driver to complete one as well. As he heads to the checkered flag, well, not checkered flag yet, but to the line. It will be pole position, and the time, which you cannot see, is oh, come on, 2:10.7. Currently pole position from Ricardo Rivera. Took it from Gage Gonzalez. 0.3 off the pace.
Those are probably really good benchmarks to look at. Both Ricardo and Gage incredibly quick. Ricardo, I mean, we've seen Ricardo in a bunch of different things. So I know he was partaking in the silver class in SRO. He did the Ferrari North America Challenge, which he came in second, I think. Him and Skylar Loverink were kind of battling it out up front. Second or third, I don't remember. But yeah, Ricardo, a world-class talent. The Puerto Rico native, not Costa Rican for those who have made that mistake before. I know not a lot of you would have, but someone may or may not have. But yeah, really, really quick driver. Just awesome to watch, and such a cool guy at it. So
yeah, very chill guy. Getting into a little bit of oh wait, no, wrong Rivera. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. We also, of course, have multiple Riveras, multiple Puerto Rican Riveras out on the grid here tonight. Where is Kevin?
Kevin is down at 20th without a valid lap just yet. I think he is in this group, so must have just invalidated. Suzuka is a very difficult track to not get the three strikes right. You got a bunch of places. Degner 1 and 2. probably an instant invalidation. Looking at the little bit of wiggle from Rivera over there. Spoon is a difficult one. You often get invalidated over there. 130R. So T1, you know, a bunch of different places where an invalidation is just asking to be had.
Yeah, and speaking of, I can't find a driver currently on a valid lap. So it's a bit of a struggle here as it stands. Here we go. Neil Kerbel up about half a second currently, heading down the back straight towards 130R. Left just a few more corners to go. And plenty of time. Half a second. That's going to look at putting him up into P4. It's a big margin between P3 and P4 currently, just over a second. Now that is very surprising to see.
Kerbel, that is a awesome lap.
Well, he's about to come to the line here. And is it enough? That's the question. He's lost a few, and wow, it is enough by 0.005 of a second.
Tansky, no slouch either. Milosh doing a pretty good job. Yeah, these guys, I mean, it's tough. You know, you can't. Yeah, okay, so we see 1.6 on the board, but that's to Ricardo Rivera, and that's he's a pretty quick driver. Really cool to see Pablo Navarrete on there. Yeah, these, you know, a lot of. What's cool is that we do have quite a significant South American presence now. I know Puerto Rico is not South American, but I'm referring to all of our Brazilian members. I think we've had a Chilean member before, Colombian, for those of you who remember Alejandro Pulgarin, who hasn't been around for a little while, so I hope to see you back, Alejandro. And Argentinian now, and Edgardo Leighton, Pablo Navarrete. Yeah, it's so many South Americans racing at Trackalicious. Really, really cool to see.
Pablo here on a Stormer as well. He's got one more corner to go. Just coming around the final one now to the line. What's it going to be? It looks like it's going to be a really solid lap here, Pablo, as he heads across. Is it into the 210 or 209s? Not yet, but it's a 210.3, enough to snatch himself a pole position for now.
Good gracious. 3.5 tenths faster than Ricardo Rivera is a pretty incredible lap.
And he is not done yet. He still has one more lap to go before the virtual checkered flag will fall at that 10-minute mark. And of course, we will see the even plate drivers come out after that. And it seems here tonight, Eric, we have more even plates than we do odds. Although, no, we have way more evens than we do odds. How does that happen?
Hey, randomness of the draw. Sometimes you win it, sometimes you lose it. I think this has been the only time where we've had more of one class, significantly more of one odd or even than the other. You know, usually random distribution according to Chrono's big brain calculations evens out that we have only, you know, 3 or 4 here and there that's unbalanced. But for some reason, this series has an abundance of even drivers.
Whoa. Now this is a livery here. We're going to have to take a look at this one. My goodness. There's a lot of color going on here. In the 5.5 Motorsports.
Some anime ladies on there. What was it say? Bridge something?
We're about to get it. Hold on. We're almost on the pan. Bridge Moto. Oh, whoa. That's it. Bridge Moto. That's what it says.
Bridge Moto.
Oh, look at that. Nice stationary image. Okay, we're back in the pits.
You know, that he's got a pretty awesome color distribution. It almost feels like an 80s what are they called, big hair, you know, rock kind of look where they had a lot of the black with the neon pink and green on there. Kind of cool. I don't think we've ever had a livery like that before.
AV6 Scott's Azure livery. That's one that rings a bell. In a similar-ish light, in my opinion.
I can't.
That's an old one.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
You definitely have. It's an older one. I'm sure if you saw it, you'd recognize it. It's pretty distinct.
Cool.
I thought I saw the car today, in fact, but no, it wasn't. It was a different driver. I can't remember who it was now offhand. Was it Raleigh? I think Raleigh Dutchy has a similar livery. Yeah, similar color. But
I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Kerbal, but there was gosh, I'm name slipping, but they had an Alpine livery with an A on the side, and it was a super simple livery, but I think so cool how they divided the A pillars or the B pillars of the Alpine and used that geometry to create an A that separated the car. I thought that was a really neat idea.
Is that a base livery?
No, I don't think so.
I think there's a base livery that does that, if it's the one that I'm thinking of. But I don't know. I just saw a McLaren the other day that I thought was a custom livery, and it turns out it was a base livery. So you never know in this game. There's some really like amazing cars that they add.
Can we just take a look at the top of the charts here? So Edgardo Layton, who was previously in the rookie series, was stomping noobs essentially, but glad that we kind of force promoted him to this league. Clearly was in the wrong series before.
Yeah. Not quite a rookie driver is Eduardo when you're besting the likes of Pablo Navarrete and Ricardo Rivera, the, as you said, SRO driver.
Oh my God! Look at those deltas, Mike. That is unbelievable.
There's no valid laps. There's literally no valid laps.
On the top.
What do you mean? Oh, the gap. Oh yeah, less than tenth of a second
goodness.
separating pole position. Nicely done for the top three. Currently, though, there are no drivers on a valid lap. This is insanity, Eric.
Oh, I think
There's
well, it's the
now
outlap for the
starting
evens, right? It's the outlap for the evens.
Shouldn't have been. They've had one, but yeah.
It's Suzuka, man. It's tough, and it's hard to get those. It's hard to get the tires all warmed up, you know, in the GT4. So, I mean, less than a tenth of a second of the top three. That is unbelievable. That's so cool to see, and I hope to see that they're going to be racing quite hard together. It's going to be exciting, I think. Yeah, the odd one for me, Mike, is Kevin Rivera not putting a valid lap. What is going on, Kevin?
Wow, you're right. That is huge. Gonna be starting at the back of the field then, pretty much.
Yikes. Not something you want to see.
Gonna see if there's any other. Jeff Dallas, also a driver, not able to set a lap.
That's right.
Looks like that was it. But, oh no, Rally Dutchy also. So a few drivers not setting laps here for the odd plates. We might see a similar story for the evens.
Ooh, let's get going off. That's an invalid lap.
He's on an outlap.
So who do we have here? We got a couple of people that got a bunch of potentials, right? Potential to challenge for that pole position. So we got Dan Brace is always in the mix, right? So he's always quick. Thanasis Liakos, that's another guy who's probably going to be up there. We got a little bit lower. Who was it? Oh, Ilippo Ratsalainen. He's the guy that was probably going to be up there. So we still got a bunch of really quick drivers in the evens that are going to make things spicy. I wonder if they're going to be within that 10th. That tenth of a second seems like a crazy margin for 1, 2, and 3.
Dan not quite able there, just besting into P4, but we have plenty, as you said, of drivers and plenty of time to go. Devin Anthony to the line. What does he have in the cards? Currently no time. As he comes to the line, though, P15 it will be for the 664 Porsche. Also coming up, this is Casey Schutte here on his flyer. As he takes a tighter line. Wow, Eric. Wow, Eric. I don't even know if that was fully audible either for chat, but Eric just whispered it. Oh, Casey.
It's hilarious.
Some may call it fate.
He's got room to improve. That's just a warm-up lap.
So does every other driver, though. So we'll see. Ilippo, he is a driver that we are not quite seeing where we were saying. Would have expected him a bit further up, but currently sitting in P9 for this 666. Also, Neo Kabuki in chat. Welcome.
Yeah, it could just be maybe potentially that it's just not suited for the Camaro. I'm not sure what the OP cars are at this track, but obviously the Alpine looking pretty good. Looks like the Porsche's got some pace to it here.
Yeah, typically for your GT4 metas, you're going to be looking Alpine, Porsche, and then everything else. Alpine is on its own level, Porsche next, and then everything else. The GT4 is not the most balanced currently, but you know, this is when you see the variety like this. Also, people always talk balance, Eric, and that's just one of the things. There is no best car. If you can't put a good lap in with the best car, then it's not the best car. It's all about what the driver has on the cards, and if you don't like a car, well, you're not going to drive well with it. So pick a car that you like and stick with it. And so that's my mentality.
I agree with you. I agree with you for a lot of people, but I would argue, Mr. Nause, that for probably, let's say, the top 10, top 8, that they can definitely discern between, like, they just have so much consistency, and so that's an invalid lap for Rutsalainen, unfortunately. Goodness, he is in a bit of a pickle with only 3 minutes to go. So, yeah, it's I'm just curious to see where Shooty ends up.
P4.
4th. Wow, that's an awesome lap. Good job.
Better than 6th. But also, Dan Brace is on an improvement, so let's not hold our breaths, though Casey will have 2 more attempts.
Yeah, yeah, so I think for the top 8, top 10, probably, they're just so talented and so consistent that definitely the OP car would make a difference in their lap times. You know, it would take a minute to get used to it, obviously. I mean, we're hearing in chat that Kevin Rivera potentially has new hardware, new Moses setup that he's getting used to, so that could explain a lot. And yeah, you know, regardless of car or equipment or the person, if you can't put a valid lap down, it doesn't matter. I learned something incredibly interesting. One of probably the fastest guys that we've seen at Trackalicious is running on a G27 on a desk setup with a rolly chair. I mean, this guy has been top 3 in pretty much everything that he's ever driven here. Ryan Yee.
Ryan Yee drives with a G27 and a rolly chair?
Yeah.
That guy's in the grand finals, but all right, fair enough.
Yep. Yeah, and it just goes to show, I mean, he knows as well as we do, the speed comes from practice. The consistency could definitely be improved with equipment, right? That's something really tough to do with the G27, is have ultra consistency, which he already does, obviously, but just, you know, practice, ladies and gentlemen. That's I'd say 90% of the battle.
Luis Castro here, currently one of the only drivers on a valid lap. I would say over half the field is currently on an invalid lap. It's a battle. It's a battle just to stay between the mayo and the mustard. Now through the final chicane, Luis Castro. What's it going to be? It's a while till we head down to the line, of course. But the lone Aston Martin on the grid. No, I think there's one more, isn't there? Goes into P20. And yes, Thanasis Liakos is in an Aston Martin, currently in P4.
Oh no.
Oh,
no.
My goodness. Wow, what a save. Kept it valid. Somehow.
That's a lot of time lost, though.
Yeah, just a casual 6/10, 7/10, you know.
That's unfortunate, as he was looking to make up. I mean, he's still got a pretty decent gap to the boys up front, but yeah.
Oh. Keeps it valid, though. Still valid.
I think those rears are done.
Yes. Needs to be careful not to hold up Ilipo. Shouldn't. I think there's enough distance at this point. May even give Ilipo a little handy toe down the back straight, but he's a little bit too far for that. Ilipo, though, not improving really. Not much lap left to go. Bit of a wiggle. Definitely running out of track here for improvements.
Yeah, I'd almost for sure say that Filippo's non-top 5 performance is very likely due to his vehicle that he's chosen. Cool livery though.
The Bomber, 666. Juan Seeger up next to the line here, sitting in P19 currently. Heads to the checkered flag. What is it going to be for the qualifying session? P17, just ahead of Zane Blisket and behind Alex Afonso.
That's another name to note. You know, Casey coming in as a rookie. Yeah, he's got some real life track day experience. He's actually been to a bunch of our Trackalicious track days, but Swanseeger slowly kind of creeping his way up in the ranks. I know he's found a little bit of, or he's been a little bit inconsistent lately, having a couple of mistakes here and there, but I mean, he's driving the Porsche in GT3 reverse grid. So that's a really tough car to drive. Probably a good car to learn on. Or at his level, having gotten all the basics down and now trying to challenge himself. So really good for throttle control on that Porsche. But yeah, cool to see him progressing up as well.
Absolutely, as the cameramen get their filters changed. Oh, it's an awkward time. All right, well, there is no correct filter for this race, it seems. We'll go with less bloom then. As we have it, though, getting lined up, we have 34 drivers on the grid here tonight, and it's going to be a Porsche front row lockout as we have it. Get in here and meet our drivers. Starting off here in P1, it is going to be the number 31 driver of Eduardo Leighton, lined up next to the sister Porsche. In P2, Pablo Navarrete, the Argentinian driver in the Just Driving with Ricardo Rivera Company. In P3, the 787 Puerto Rico E-Racing Club with Thanasis Liakos Company in the Noobs R Us Christmas Special in the number 26. Casey Schutte just beating out his personal best there into P5. Nicely done. Breaks the curse again for the 444. Dan Brace takes the position of 6th in the number 46 Ironman Alpine. Gage Gonzalez, 7th quickest in the turn right stop fast. Interesting car name for Gage, with Justin Beachley Company in row 4 in P8. Neil Kerbel, 9th quickest in the 395, with Ilippo Rautsulainen rounding out our top 10. Professor Kronotis in P11, the number 42 T-Swizzle 2022 driver. The livery is about 2 years behind at this point, Corona. You gotta get an update. Milos Tansky in P12 with the 411 Porsche Motorsports Porsche with George Elmer Company in 13th. Potts Weaver, 14th fastest in the Big Wins McLaren, the JG Wentworth with Tony Danzig in 15th. Alex Afonso bringing up P16 for the Portuguese driver, Casey Swanseeger in 17th. Zane Blisket, the Mad Fox Racing, up into P18. Nicely done for Zane for the qualifying. John Hawley will be at Company in 19th. Brandon Mellenbacher rounding out our top 20. Luis Castro in P21 with Kevin Johnson in 22nd. And Randy Gross bringing up 23rd here. Devin Smallblock Anthony in the Porsche this time around. He's been changing cars around here and there. Has Devin in P24, though he stands in the Porsche this time, with Scott Sullivan in 25th in the 90s AMG. Adam King going to be in P26, row 13, with Jacob Church in 27th, the one big league Camaro. We also have Yeager Karu in P28, the Mad Fox Canadian, with Michael Cortez in 29th. Rounding out our top 30, Raleigh Dutchy in the Mad Fox with Kevin Rivera in 31st. Alex Freeman, 32nd, with Jeff Dallas in P33, the number 21 Precision Motorsports. And last but not least, the Australian driver of James Pierre Reid.
For those that don't know, JP is another one that would likely have been near the top, but having an equipment failure and his load cell failing on him just earlier today. So he's actually driving with his clutch pedal as his brake pedal. Now, you know, that's just a part of racing, guys. It happens in real life. I mean, we know about situations where Ayrton Senna had his power steering fail and had to essentially wrestle his car with 10 or 15 laps left to go, and an unbelievable feat, given that it was a Formula One car of that age. So it's just things that you have to deal with as a racing driver. That versatility is super important, being able to adapt into these crazy situations that the engineers may not have been able to think of.
Yes, indeed. As I was coughing the lung out. Sorry. Yes, the drivers here on their outlap, though, 3.8 miles, 3.6 miles ahead of them here at Suzuka. As you were alluding to there, Eric, this track is littered with history. Founded back in 1962, unchanged since 1983. A track that we've seen many, many championships be decided at over the Formula One career, in both dramatic fashions and in non-dramatic fashions. In fact, we saw the Formula One championship decided this year at Suzuka and last, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, 18 corners, 8 to the left, 10 to the right, with 40 meters of elevation change. It doesn't really look like it, but the first sector here has a lot of elevation, lots of up, and then as we come back down the hill here towards the Dunlop, it's a bit of a windy, curvy course, but nothing like your Spa-Francorchamps. You're not going to see 130 meters here. And
yeah,
oh, sorry. Our video settings nighttime. No, it's too bright for nighttime. We're gonna have to make do with here. There's no winning at the current time that we're at, basically.
I think it looks pretty good, Mike. I think it's fine.
It's good enough. It's as good as it's gonna get.
I was gonna say that's interesting. That's interesting. The elevation information. I don't think I knew that. I mean, it feels relatively flat in game, but then again, one of the things that's really difficult to capture in sim is that elevation change. I mean, the one track that I could definitely note is Road Atlanta. I mean, been to Road Atlanta in real life, and it's unbelievable how much gradient that first sector has in the S. It's just so cool. Something you definitely do not see in most games.
Yeah, I mean, even iRacing driving Road Atlanta, I will say it feels very undulating, and it feels like there's a lot of corners, but feels like there's a lot of elevation. But yeah, as you say, it's just the real life, especially you go to Spa-Francorchamps and you see the actual Eau Rouge Raidillon complex, and then the Kemmel Straight as well, which people often forget. The Kemmel Straight is not just a level straight, it is an uphill climb the entire way, and it is quite the height when you reach the top of the Combe. But we're not here, though, so we're not there at Spa, so let's not worry about that.
A lot of people did mention that there's been quite a few changes made at Spa from what we see in game these days to what they've updated it to. And Mike, I think this is probably a good time for me to bow out. Just want to help fill in some of the slower moments earlier in the qualifying and between the races. Good luck to everybody. Good luck to you, Mike. Love seeing everybody in the race and everybody in chat. Good night to you all.
Have a good night, Eric, and thanks. I'm going to need it. As we have it here, Eduardo Leighton on pole position, Pablo Navarrete in P2. We have 34 drivers on the grid here tonight for round 6 of Suzuka here in the GT4 Open Championship. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. On pole is Eduardo Leighton, Pablo Navarrete in P2. As I said, we're getting ready to go green as we approach the checkered flag line here. See the wind blowing those banners off to the side. It's the calm before the storm. And we are about to go green, green, green now, heading down to the first corner. And it's going to be a smashing start for Pablo Navarrete, immediately challenging Eduardo Leighton into the first corner, who is going to go late on the brakes. Looks like Eduardo is going to have the advantage. Number 31 keeping it ahead for right now. Pablo, though, on the outside, trying to make anything he can, gets washed out to the outside of the track. Thanasis Liaco sticks his nose onto the inside, having a look for the outside now. Off the track, though, goes Thanasis, going to have to find his way back on safely. Parks it right in front of Kevin Rivera, has contact with, Ricardo Rivera. Tags him, car off into the grass, spinning around. I think that was Gage Gonzalez. Ilipo managing to negotiate that, so does Casey Schutte. Ricardo Rivera up ahead, everyone nip and tuck here through the first sector. So far, so good. Unfortunately, I think Gage Gonzalez, the biggest victim there today, or in this first start. You can see Professor Chronotis eking at the back of Neil Kerbel. The look into the Degnaz. Is he going to go for it? He tags Neil Kerbel a little bit late on the brakes. A misjudgment for Chronotis, and there's a big pile up as a result. Oh my goodness. You absolutely hate to see it. It is bumping and banging carnage. This is incredible. Oh, no, no. Lots of drivers stranded, lots of drivers very upset currently. Oh, and there's more carnage as we head into the Dunlop hairpin. The 395 of Neil Kerbel has found himself off the track. not the cleanest start to the race here tonight. Definitely, yeah, pretty clear on that one. And Ricardo Rivera, he managed to make it through all of that. Of course, everything happened behind him, so managing to come through fairly unscathed. But now battling with the likes of Dan Brace. Ahead of him, we can see the leaders pulling away a little bit. Ricardo, though, still on the charge. Casey Schutte here in the Reckless GT4 in P7. He's dropped down 2 positions from where he started at the beginning here. We have more yellow flags. Rally Dutchy has parked him. There's a chicane in the chicane, everybody. This is less than ideal. Rally with not much he can do but get off the track there. Fair play, opening the road back up. Ay. Few yellow flags here on lap 1. As we are following along here with George Elmer chasing down John Hawley. Coming now through the middle sector, heading into the middle sector rather, through the S's now. A look onto the inside of the exit. George Elmer trying to put that Alpine, the little Alpine that could. Can he make it stick? It's going to be the outside line as we enter the first Degna, and he is going to be further, he's going to back out before we get to that corner. Fair play. Also, wow, I know we mentioned it before, James Pierre Reid here, the Australian driver in the Audi, who is currently had a load cell pedal issue earlier on in the day. Well, clearly doesn't matter for him because he's driving with his clutch as a brake and a... Whoa! Okay, maybe I'll stop. Oh, that wasn't John, that was the car in front, but still. Whoa, very close from Alex Freeman there. Big send onto the new Bizarre S car of Scott Sullivan. But James Pierre Reid, currently our biggest gainer in this race by... no, he's not. Jeff Dallas is, Jeff Dallas is up 15 positions on the start here. He managed to make it through all of the carnage. John, I know, I hate to see you in chat here, John. Don't get me wrong, I love you here, but not when you're supposed to be out on track. You absolutely hate to see it. And it looks like you were not the only one that fell victim to that either. That is, yeah, less than ideal lap 1. The stewards are going to have their hands full. But yes, also John Hawley, get back into it. You got plenty of time. Get it. Get out there. He is out there. Look at that. John Hawley, he's a big kid now, everybody. You don't need to tell him twice. Zane Blisket down the inside of Milos Tansky into the first corner. Milos managing to get it late enough on the brakes, closes the corner up a little bit too much. Had a slight tap with Zane Blisket. Luckily, no harm, no foul from any of the drivers. Potts, though, licking his lips trying to make anything happen here. Flash of the headlights from Zane as well, trying to get in the head there of Tansky. Behind that, George Elmer. It's a nice little slipstream train here that we have with Andre Alex Afonso bringing up the rear of that pack. For now, Potts Weaver. What does he have for a move? Nothing yet. Coming through the middle sector into the Degnas. Oh, here we are. The Alpine going to have a look. George Elmer. Not going to happen, though. Dunlop covered off nicely. Inside line being taken there for Potts Weaver. Not giving a nose to George Elmer. Smart play as George is all over that rear bumper, rubbing a hole into it. As they now come through 200R and back towards Spoon. George Elmer currently, oh, that's a big error there from Potts Weaver. He had a big moment of oversteer mid-corner, or maybe understeer that led into oversteer. I'm not sure what really happened there. It was hard to tell. Potts Weaver, though, now all over the back after losing 2 positions of Andre Alex Afonso heading into 130R. He's tight onto the bumper of the Alpine, but there is no room for him on the inside. We have the overtake firmly done there by Afonso. Can Potts come back? Look onto the outside, but no, he takes the racing line. Adam King, oh, that's Scott Sullivan with a send and a half onto Jeff Dallas. Jeff Dallas still our biggest winner here tonight with Adam King next to Dispatch, and that is not an aerodynamically sound Camaro. Straight line speed should be lacking for Adam, and that should allow Jeff Dallas through fairly handedly into the first corner. Jeff's going to fight, or excuse me, Adam's going to fight it. But he isn't going to be able to do too much about it, unfortunately. Gave it his best possible effort, and I think he might see a similar fate here to Scott Sullivan. That front-end damage certainly going to be affecting his time lap after lap here. Might be smart to come in and get that damage repaired, as of course there is one mandatory pit stop here tonight. Haven't even explained the race format. Hashtag bad streamer. Get the race format here. Oh, wow. As the Camaro struggling, Scott Sullivan around the outside gets a bit of a squeeze onto the rumble strips, maybe even onto the grass there. Scott needs to bide his time, be patient and be careful here, as clearly Adam does not want to let this position by easily. But here at the GT4 Open, of course, it's one mandatory pit stop with a mandatory refueling time fixed to 25 seconds. Optional tires are available. I do not think we're going to be seeing too many drivers take tires, though. And there is no pit window. The drivers able to come into the box whenever they would like, and for the likes of Adam King, I think that might be a smart choice. But hey, if he isn't too bothered by the damage, then I wouldn't fret. Though, looking at his lap times, it is suffering compared to the cars around. Checking back up with Professor Chronotis here. We saw him in a little bit of an incident earlier. Now, trying to make a move on to Tony Danzig. This is to get into the single-digit paying positions. But also, keep an eye on Scott Sullivan at the same time. Scott Sullivan here on with the overtake. Firmly done before 130R, but are we going to see a switchback from 130R? The Camaro with the overspeed. What a defense. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to it as Scott Sullivan has the inside line. With the overspeed, though, he keeps it on track. Adam King proves me wrong immediately. Sends it around the outside there. Adam King, incredibly talented driving display we're seeing from him, even with the damage on that front end. I wish Adam's car was fully repaired right now because, man, he would be putting up such a good fight. I mean, he is putting up such a good fight, but as you can see, as he goes under braking, the front headlight there is even flashing, and that affecting the straight line speed is still not enough. Adam Savage, and not even the one from Mythbusters, everybody, but he is breaking myths here tonight. Adam King, can he hold on through the S's? I can't. What a good fight, though. What a good fight it is to be said. He comes back in track right in front of Michael Cortez, and he is going to... Whoa! Okay, I wanted to check on this because I saw a small incident. There clearly is more than a small incident that has happened here. Okay, so we're following along with the number 22 of George Elmer currently. That's a very wounded Porsche in front of us. Now, are we about to rock up onto the scene of a crime, or are we about to cause it? We're about to cause it. Got it. The number 22 car, a little bit putting his nose maybe where it shouldn't have been. Rejoins, so far pretty safe. Now, what went wrong? What went wrong? I didn't even catch it. Was there a touch? Was there a... I don't know. George Elmer, though, seemingly, well, he got his cake and he ate it too, I guess. Very unfortunate. Up next, Casey Schutte and Dan Brace. We also actually, hang on now, battle for the podiums. Now, this I didn't expect. Currently, this is a battle for their lead of the race. Eduardo Leighton has fallen off of the pace this lap, and Pablo Navarrete trying to claim victim in the slipstream. We have some Porsche on Porsche violence here. Now, who is it going to be? Looking down the inside, Pablo Navarrete handed the overtake there. Eduardo Leighton, really not much of a battle. Now at the back of the grid here, we also have Luis Castro, Casey Swanseeger, and Brandon Mellenbacher. Every flash of the headlights there from Luis. I think we're almost to the time of night where we can get the cameramen to switch their filters over. But I still think it's going to mess things up. Oh, Brandon Mellenbacher, nice line there into the chicane. Holds the position from Casey for now. This is the closest battle on track, though, as it stands. Still a few more developments to be had, but we'll stick with this for now. As Casey has looked to the inside, at least to think to the inside, doesn't go for anything too rash or bold. Trying to find that opportunity, really, as Brandon has been pretty good on the defense so far. A bit further up, we have Jaeger Karu and Devin Anthony. Energy there from Darren Thomas Snoopy being thrown the way of Casey, and, well, as soon as I turn the camera off, that's all he really needed, it turns out, was that little extra energy. Gets the job done onto Brandon Mellenbacher, and Brandon Mellenbacher loses another position to Luis Castro. Michael Cortez also in a scrap with Adam King here. What is... Oh, George Elmer out of the pits. Okay, George Elmer making his pit stop. We're 13 minutes into this race currently. Still 27 minutes to go. Casey sitting in his rightful position, P6. Can he make anything happen on Dan Brace? Why don't we ride along here with Casey Schutte for a little bit here. Listen to the sound of this lovely, lovely Porsche Flat 6. Of course, the 918 or the 718 GT4 Cayman. 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, and it does sound amazing. Casey not really putting a wheel wrong just yet. He's down one position from where he started. You can see there the aggressive nature that Dan Brace has when he's driving that Alpine. Dan's such a good driver. One that we've seen here for a while in Trackalicious, consistently up at the front, and especially in those GT4s. I gotta say, I'm not sure if he favors GT4 cars or not, but he is a true expert behind the wheel, is Dan Brace here, especially that Alpine. He's been a fan, of course, of the Alpine, the Porsche. He tried the Camaro for a while, and the Camaro just didn't work with him. I know he was working with Ilipo for quite a while, actually, trying to get that Camaro to gel. And at the end of the day, he just ended up settling back on the Alpine, which, you know, fair enough. It's what works for him, and it really is working for him. The field, though, spreading out a little bit. We are getting closer to that pit phase. Now we're going to see these drivers start to go for the undercut. We already have seen some drivers come in. In fact, about 7 drivers have come in so far. Actually, 9 drivers have come in so far. But we'll see who is going to be the next one to pull the trigger. Now, pit stops here at Suzuka. Not the most forgiving, but not the least either. We're looking at around a 62-second stop here if we are going to be taking tires. So probably about a 55-second stop time, or 56-second stop time, somewhere around there. Or no, 61, excuse me. No, anyways, my brain is done tonight, guys. I apologize. But it's not the longest pit stop here, and everyone's got to do it. No one's gaining an advantage. Practice your pits, everyone. That's the consensus. I don't know where I was going with that. That's where it's landing. Looking at Thanasis Leakos in P3, battling here, or rather starting to battle with Eduardo Leighton, the highest-placed Aston Martin currently. Fastest lap also belonging to Ricardo Rivera behind. Now, Ricardo down a position from P1 or from P3. Definitely, though, some pace left behind the wheel of that Alpine. Is he just biding his time, waiting for Thanasis, or does Thanasis have the pace here? Looking like it so far, it seems Thanasis about 0.3 slower on average per lap. but you can see that he is stuck behind Eduardo Leighton, so that definitely playing a part in that fact. Also, back to rather Casey Schutte and Dan Brace. The two battles that we're going to be bouncing back and forth with for a while, I presume. Till one of them decides that enough is enough, and that they want to go and take some more fuel. And this lap, next lap, and the lap after that, I think we're going to see the majority of our drivers come in. Of course, that halfway point, typically your safest pit stop, right? You load the fuel up for half the race, put half the fuel in for the second, and you're pretty quick the entire time. Is it the optimal strategy? Maybe not, but it's a pretty good strategy all around, and it works most of the time. So I think it's it's the safe strategy, I should say. It's the one that's pretty much guaranteed to work, rather than going for some bold undercut, bold overcut that track temps may play a part in, or a crash, or back markers. You never know. Anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. Casey Schutte here, he's trying to make up a position up into P4. Not going to happen just yet. And did I see the QR code on the roof of the Noobs R Us car? Okay. No, I haven't. Let's take a look here. I keep going to the wrong Rivera. I'm so sorry. Where the heck did Thanasis go? Oh, he's in the pits. Okay, fair enough. We'll take a look when Thanasis comes out. And I'll get my QR reader up too, because why not? But following with Dan here. Also Devin. Devin in the old Noobs R Us car. Not on the new Christmas special. Casey also staying out. So does Dan Brace. Very interesting. I wonder if they were going to pit on the same lap. I think Casey is going to try to do the opposite this lap. Whatever Dan doesn't do, I think, or rather, whatever Dan does, Casey's going to do the opposite. Because we're getting to that phase where someone needs to pull the trigger at this point. And we'll find out at the end of this lap, of course. As it stands, let's take a look at Thanasis. Stop go 30 for Milos Tansky. Uh-oh. Someone didn't practice their pit entries, everybody. All right. Can I scan it? Hold on. Doesn't want to scan there. You put a very inconvenient QR logo, Jeremy. You got to look at it at a very specific angle. Okay, here we go. We'll pop on board with Thanasis as he's having a bit of a battle. That's actually not a battle. That is Brandon Mellenbacher, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. Currently being lapped by Thanasis Liakos. Take a look. Oh, nice. Of course, the GT4 Rookie Series coming up. Or the Noobs R Us, that is, obviously. Not the TRACKILICIOUS. Yes, the upcoming Noobs R Us Championship. Which is awesome to see, Jeremy. Congratulations on that. I hope that goes well for you guys. So if anyone is interested, of course, Noobs R Us running championships now. George Elmer, nicely done. Alex Freeman dispatched. Ilippo Rautsulainen in P18. Oh, he's out of the pits. That's why. Okay. I was going to say, that doesn't sound right. But no, it isn't right because he's out of merit. But yes. Eventually, he will be back up. Still, though, not the greatest race for Ilippo, it is to be said. Whoa, what is happening? Dan Brace is out of the pits. Okay, that's the yellow flag. And Ilippo gaining, and gaining. Justin Beachley in a pretty good position currently. I have no idea how Justin has managed to get here. He started in P8 actually, so never mind. He's just been here the whole time. What's that meme? I don't even know the meme of I've been here anyways. Oh, Jacob Church running out of track. Dan Brace gets the overtake done. Jacob in P11. Hasn't made his pit stop, actually. He's a little out of sequence with the rest of the field currently. As Ilipo here going to be closing up on them as well. That is Brandon Mellenbacher in front of them. Milos Tansky still needs to serve that stop-go 30 penalty. He needs to do that within 3 laps or he will be receiving a penalty. That's just how ACC works. Who is that? Who the heck is that? That's Neil Kerbel in P32. Okay. Very interesting. Neil trying to unlap himself. Maybe a bit eager, but we'll see. As he has the battle in front of him, definitely needs to be aware of that. But also, I say that he has a battle in front of him. In fact, Brandon Mellenbacher and him are on the same lap. So this is actually for position and a battle for pride at that. Battle for P last coming up soon, everyone. He needs to unlap himself or needs to get rather Brandon Mellenbacher needs to get put behind Justin Beachley, which I do not think Brandon wants currently. I think Brandon, he sees those blue flags. And of course, blue flags here in GT racing, not quite as strict as your Formula 1 rules. In Formula 1, of course, it's 2 marshal posts required. You have to move over within 2 marshal posts. Not the case here in GT racing. It is basically just a indicator to let you know that faster cars are approaching and that you should let them by at your earliest convenience. And letting them by is not necessarily going to be that convenient for Mellenbacher. But he's going to have to, unfortunately, at some point, I think. Justin doing a defensive masterclass at like, this is incredible, I got to say. Ilipo Ratsulainen, no slouch of an attacker, but he's just not able to get anywhere where it matters. As we can get a great view of Justin Beachley's cat-inspired livery. It is his cat, not just any cat. Oh, but also, Thanasis Liakos actually here. You can see making a move there onto Dan Brace. Dan forced onto the rumble strips. Keeps the drive, though. The Alpine very, very punchy. Able to get out of those corners much better than the Aston. Wow, that was a late move. Dan there with a bit of a squeeze. We're going to change the camera settings, everyone. It's getting very dark. Oh, I loaded the wrong one. There we go. Much better. Almost. It's still not great. Bit bloomy. Side by side, though, Thanasis Liakos and Dan Brace. Liakos way too deep through 130R. Gonna have to try again. Ooh, and cuts the chicane on top of it. Needs to be careful that he isn't picking up too many drive-through penalties, Thanasis. Or excuse me, too many track cut warnings, which will result in a drive-through penalty if he isn't careful. Ilipo Ratsulainen in P10. Battling with Justin Beachley. Still. I think that'll be a one for a while, actually. Maybe we'll stick with a Thanasis battle. Actually, hang on now. Kevin Rivera and Zane Blisket. Slipstream down the start-finish straight. Zane covering the inside just slightly, but not really committing to it. Kevin, though, just too far behind. Not able to make an overtake. Bit of a wobble there from Kevin. We can pop on board with him. He follows through the S's. Please use brakes, says Zane Blisket. Kevin, he's using the flashers. That's not quite what the brakes are, but I'm sure he's got that one managed as well. Oh, the Mad Fox with a twitch on the rear end there, but you can see getting over to that racing line quickly, minimizing the damage, covering the inside through the first Degna. Kevin struggling to get the job done here, which the pace is there. Although last time around they were about dead even on lap time. That will do it, though. Zane Blisket deep. Kevin Rivera through. And just like that, flash of the headlights, because why not? A little bit of a flourish there from Kevin. Dan Brace gets overtaken by Thanasis. I think Dan had a bit of an error. So the Noobs R Us cars both climbing a position. Now in terms of our pit stop phase, Professor Chronotis, he has decided to make his stop on this lap. We still have Tony Danzig, Eduardo Leighton, and Pablo Navarrete. They all need to make their stops in the top 3. Also, Jacob Church down in P11. He needs to stop, but everybody else is good to go to the end. Minutes and 19 seconds left to go for my voice. It should be able to do it. Wow, that Maserati. Big snap there. Managing, though, to hold on. Potts Weaver. Maybe a little disappointed here tonight. Not quite the result he was looking for. But there's still some other drivers that have had some pretty big disappointments. So I think Potts, nothing to shake his stick at. He can be happy with his performance tonight. Currently, though, P15, battling with the likes of Afonso. We go on board with the McLaren. You see the lovely Maserati in front of us. Maserati, I think, is, let me just double check, the most expensive car for the GT4s. No, it's not. It's actually not. It's not even close. The Porsche does not take that title. The AMG, why is, oh, the Aston Martin, excuse me, the Aston Martin at $400,000. So if you guys are looking to pick up a nice budget car, well, I'd look at Thanasis Liakos, or look no further than him, as he has a $400,000 piece of machinery under him tonight. Potts, though, he's in the budget car, we'll call it that, in the McLaren 570S. Rocking about, let's see. Why have I lost the McLaren? Did I not do the McLaren stats? I did, there it is. It's about half the price, $200,000 you're looking at for a McLaren 570. Oh, big send around the outside. Potts Weaver getting frisky, but that's way too deep. Potts Weaver's best Sum 41 impression. He had to get it out. One mandatory, one a race. And Potts, well, he did it on lap 12 here tonight. Professor Chronotis, who's fresh out of the pits, battling with Jacob Church. Now, is Jacob not, he's not going to come in. Okay, fair enough. He is going to battle with Chronotis. Heading down the start-finish straight. Chronotis here with the slipstream and that raw AMG horsepower. In terms of straight line speed, Potts Weaver topping the time charts at 2:52, tied with Zane Blisket in the AMG. There's a coming together again. Oh no, Professor Chronotis and Jacob Church have a slight brushing. Let's go back and watch that one again. Get a better angle here. So Chronotis gaining, and gaining. He is a bit far behind there at corner. That's a tough one. Stewart's going to be having a look at that one. I'm not sure Chrono was fully alongside there. And, I mean, the gap was there. That is the thing. The question is did Jacob Church turn in or did Chronotis brake too late? Not my decision to make, quite frankly, so I'm glad. Jacob Church holds on for now. All right. Exclamation mark curse. Jacob Church dispatched by Chronotis immediately after saying that. Up at the front, we're pretty secure for right now. Pablo Navarrete leading over 7 seconds to Eduardo Leighton, and Ricardo Rivera 57 seconds behind. Now that is an interesting window, because I think Eduardo may come out side by side with Ricardo when he decides to come into the pits. Now, looking at our pit stop times, I'm only seeing a few drivers that took tires. Thanasis Liakos, he was a driver that actually took tires, and seems to be paying off for him. Casey Schutte, he's on an old set of rubber, 40-minute old, well, 30-something old, 32-minute old rubber, compared to Thanasis here, who's on a fresh set of boots and ready to charge. Now, a few other drivers, Kevin Rivera also took tires. So far, though, oh, okay, no, Potts Weaver and Andre Alex Afonso. Andre may not have, actually. That one's debatable. Thanasis chasing Schutte. Casey, though, in P4 for the 444. Some would call it fate, but some would say that he needs to be down 2 positions into P6. No reason in particular, just a meme, you know? It'd be funny, I guess. Anyways. Casey qualifying in 5th position. Now looking like he is going to get returned to that spot. No, Thanasis not able to get it done just yet. Lovely defense there from Casey, but it does seem the writing is on the walls. Now I say that, Dan Brace is coming up into this equation. I didn't quite account for that in my math. Dan is going to be really putting a scare now onto Thanasis, because look at that. You can see the switchback attempt already happening. Maybe that was actually just an outbreak. I think he just outbroke himself, did Dan. Have to try again next time. But still, half a second behind in that slipstream as well, as we're coming onto the back straight here soon enough. Should be an opportunity relatively quick here, as Casey with a good line. Thanasis, not quite. Now, can the Alpine have the exit speed? That's the question. Wash is a bit wider than it would like. I think Dan there actually busts out of the slipstream. Interesting. I wonder if he's having heat issues currently. Is he overheating? You can see the cars going under us as well, as I touched on earlier. One of the only figure 8 tracks in the world, really, that at least that I know of, that we race on in GT racing, of course, and in Formula 1. Whoa, who was that? That was a Noobs R Us car deciding that the chicane was optional. Not sure which one that was. Also, Eduardo Leighton out of the pits and in P3. The undercut seemingly working wonders for Ricardo Rivera. Now, Pablo, is he going to fall victim as well? No, he's not, because he's already made his stop. So he has the lead of this race. The only driver left is Jacob Church. Only driver to needs to make a pit stop. Following along with Dan, though, once again. Also want to take a look here soon enough at George Elmer. That's a driver that is currently having a bit of a scrap with Scott Sullivan. In fact, why don't we take a look now? It's King Sticks. Thank you very much for the follow. Also, I think I missed it, but Ederp J. I don't know if I saw you. I think I saw you in chat. Did I get that one? I might have gotten them, but thank you very much for the follow nonetheless if I didn't. And I hope everyone is enjoying the stream. Of course, this is round 6. Whoa, Scott Sullivan runs deep through the first corner, easily dispatched by George Elmer. Now, back up front, Dan Brace is ahead of Justin Beachley, who's behind Ilippo Ratsulainen. Still trying to make the overtake on Beachley. Hasn't made it happen. That is incredible. Thanasis, though, with Casey in front. He's had the charge. He has the gumption. There's no doubt there. But currently struggling. Casey has been doing an excellent job in that P4. With 4 minutes left, the P4 for the 444. Who knows? Anything can happen. A slight look to the inside from Thanasis. Maybe a bit of impatience being had the way there. Hopefully that can be reeled in, because we are approaching that final lap, of course, and let's not see too big of a send here. It's looking that way. It's looking like a build-up to that, I will say. Thanasis is looking eager. We'll take a look further back. James Pierre Reed, the Australian driver in the Audi, battling with Afonso. Afonso currently in P15 with that Maserati, the 999. just a bit ahead of them. Well, actually, we're going to stick with this, as that is a great exit for the Audi, but he lifts off before 130R. No commitment. James, I think he could have had that if he was bold enough, but I can understand the hesitation. It's a scary move there. You have to have so much confidence to make that happen and trust that you're going to grip and not understeer into the car in front of you. Here's Jacob Church under threat from Zane Blisket. And there is Zane Blisket getting by Jacob Church. Jacob still is off the track. Yeah, he needs to make his pit stop next lap. He has to, or else he will be receiving a penalty potentially. Back with Ilippo Rautsulainen. He's got to be just fuming at this point. I don't know, though. Ilippo is not much of a driver that fumes that I know of. He might. I could see Ilippo getting mad, but still, I've never seen him get mad. But he's been behind Justin Beachley for about 40 minutes, and this race has been elapsed for about 40 minutes, so I think Ilippo may be a bit upset. Not upset, but just like I say, a bit frustrated at the fact that he just cannot make it by Beachley. Back up with the Thanasis battle. Looks like Casey has gained control of this one. Still, though, we're going to have one more lap. So Casey going to be approaching that white flag. And he just has to do this one more time around. 3.6 miles is the defense for Casey. Thanasis, though, eager as ever. Leaders on the final lap. Pablo Navarrete crosses the line to start our white flag lap. Ricardo Rivera in second, Eduardo Leighton in third, but the eyes are going to be on Casey Schutte and Thanasis. This is the battle for P4. Thanasis, his best overtaking opportunity into turn one. Not going to happen. He is way too far behind to make any sort of look. That is devastating. Thanasis has pretty much one more shot here into the Dunlop hairpin, maybe into the final chicane if he's bold enough. Let's call it 2 opportunities left. As he sees, though, a big weakness from Casey Schutte in the first sector. The S's are just very difficult to overtake on, though. The car in front of you may be that much slower, but there's nowhere to go. You can take the alternate. There's really only one line through that entire sector, and it is nip and tuck the whole way. Thanasis, what has he got left? Any grip that he has in those new tires, any fuel that is remaining. Oh, Casey's wide with a bit of a wiggle, but so is Thanasis. This might be the run, though. Thanasis should have a better exit. Casey needs to cover the inside line. He does so. The inside line's covered, but Thanasis sends it onto the inside regardless. Let's go back and take a look at that one, folks. Get a little bit of a helicam view. So Casey there with in a bump on exit there, in fact, so a little bit of help from Thanasis. And heading on here, Casey obviously going to be covering that inside. Now, did Casey veer? That's the question that the stewards are going to be asking. We've had some very hard to call incidents here tonight. Was Casey moving under braking? And the only way you're going to be able to tell is by going on board and seeing Casey's wheel there. Now, obviously, he was going to cover that inside line, and I think Thanasis knew that. But clearly saw the gap, went for it. And what happened, happened. Casey Schutte now behind Dan Brace. Thanasis Liakos is up into P4, though. So this race may come down to post-race penalties. But nonetheless, Pablo Navarrete comes across the line. No penalties for him with a race win. Clean win all the way around for Navarrete. Ricardo Rivera comes home in second with Eduardo Leighton in third. Thanasis Liakos, a debatable finish there in fourth. Like I said, we'll see how the stewards are going to rule that one, with Dan Brace behind in fifth. Casey Schutte, unfortunately, in sixth. Again. Ilippo, oh my goodness, Ilippo Rautsulainen gets Justin Beachley to the line. Hold on, everybody. We got to watch this. Oh, I should have went back further. I didn't go back far enough. Man, Justin Beachley doesn't get a good enough exit. The Camaro, as you can see to the line, just gets the nose ahead, and the American muscles out the position. I said it before, Ilippo must be absolutely fuming at the fact that he couldn't overtake Justin. Justin's got to be just devastated at that one. He put up a perfect defense that entire race, and at the last possible moment, it was stolen from him. But that is going to be the race. We are going to skip post-race interviews here tonight, so apologies to Ricardo. I'm presuming Ricardo's going to pop in. Eduardo and Pablo, maybe. But we are going to skip post-race interviews for the sake of my voice. I'm toast, everybody. I don't know if you can tell. So we're just going to be looking for somebody to raid. Let's find someone here. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. But for now, Monday Hacker Racing with Syntax 979. What is this? This sounds interesting. Why don't we go check this out, everybody? So, as I said, we're going to hop back into the booth real quick at the very least. I'll give you guys that pleasure of, I guess, seeing, well, pleasure, unfortunate pleasure of seeing my face. But what a race it was, of course. Pablo Navarrete taking the win, Ricardo Rivera in second, and last but not least, of course, Eduardo Leighton in third. Apologies, no post-race interviews here tonight. We are just going to be moving on and rating, so big thank you. You know what? Ricardo's already in the green room. I'll give Ricardo an interview. Ricardo, I'll give you a short interview. I wasn't going to do interviews, but you're already here. Ricardo, you brought home a podium this time around, P2 for the 787. It's got to feel pretty good. I think you drove as solid of a race as you could. Pablo was just, yeah, he was just quicker. I think is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, those Porsches were really quick here, so there wasn't much that I could do. It was a fun race with some competition.
Yeah, I mean, Eduardo Leighton not really too far behind you at any point in time, keeping you honest throughout the entirety. I mean, one little slip-up and you would have been victim. Of course, we saw that lap 1 incident. I don't think you saw the lap 1 incident. There was a pretty big lap 1 incident, though, which resulted in that top pack pulling away quite far, just the basically from P4 forward. Or yeah, I mean, you know. What was your take on that race, though, Ricardo? I'm just curious to hear your side fully.
I mean, was a tough race. Actually, I have to be pushing like crazy entire time to see if I could catch the Porsche. I know about the incident because I was with Gage on the voice chat. I think he got a really bad part in there. And yeah, unfortunate on that incident that affected the part of the grid.
It affected quite a few of the. That was a pretty big one. And I think Gage might have been the one that got taken out, actually, now that you mention it. But hey, it happens. That's racing, you know. At the end of the day, I think you can be happy, Ricardo, bringing home that podium. So congratulations there on P2.
Thank you, thank you.
So
yeah, next time.
Yes, indeed, of course, Ricardo. In terms of the championship, I didn't even bring that up once. Let's mention that real quick. Ricardo, you're all good to go. Thank you very much. But championship standings here, we're looking at for Pro.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And we're seeing that Ricardo Rivera is leading this championship. That's his third race win in a row. I probably should have said something about that. My goodness, that's a hat trick of wins for Ricardo Rivera here in the GT4 Open. No, it's not. Ricardo Rivera didn't win. He got P2. It's not a hat trick, everybody. I'm going to end the stream here because my brain is gone. We're going to raid Syntax 976. Let's go check him out. He's going to be doing some VR racing. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.